Okay, so have you ever noticed that thing you do in your head when you're trying to speak English?
Yeah.
It's like your brain turns into this little translator, right?
Yeah. Yeah.
Flipping back and forth between English and your native language, like just to understand what someone's saying or to like piece together a sentence to say back.
Oh, absolutely. It's super common.
It's exhausting, isn't it?
Totally.
And it makes speaking feel so much slower and clunkier than it needs to be.
Right. You just want to like have a smooth conversation and it's like,
Yeah, it's like wading through mud.
yeah, exactly.
So that's exactly what we're going deep on today.
Okay, cool.
We're diving into the world of thinking directly in English, ditching that whole translation stuff.
I love it.
It's about unlocking a more fluent, more confident you when you speak English.
I think what's so exciting about this topic is that it really highlights just how flexible and adaptable our brains are.
Really?
Like, we can actually train ourselves to bypass that ingrained translation process.
It's almost like rewiring. The cool thing is the stuff we've been looking at, it's not just about memorizing a bunch of grammar rules.
Right.
It's more about understanding how to develop what some people call like an English mindset.
I like that.
It's about getting to that point where your brain like naturally starts to process information and even form thoughts using English,
Yeah.
but like without needing to make that detour through your own language.
Right. And it's not just about the structure of the language either. It's also about those like subtle cultural nuances and the way native speakers kind of instinctively use English.
Totally. Yeah. And we found some really practical tips and tricks to help us get there.
I'm excited to dig in.
Me too.
Yeah.
So first off, let's talk about why that whole translation thing that so many of us do is actually kind of holding us back.
Okay. Yeah.
The research is pretty clear on this, and it's something we've all experienced.
I'm sure.
I think
For sure.
it's a huge time suck, especially when you're trying to have a conversation in real time.
Oh.
You're trying to follow along, trying to figure out what to say, but your brain's doing this extra work in the background.
Right.
And that spontaneous moment to jump in or to respond or to crack a joke, it just vanishes.
Yeah. It's like you're always a beat behind.
Yeah, it's like you're trying to catch a wave, but you're waiting for the ocean to like translate what it's doing.
Exactly. And I think when we zoom out and think about communication more broadly, that delay that translation creates, it really messes with the natural flow.
For sure.
You know, it stops you from being able to express yourself spontaneously and intuitively.
Right.
So instead of focusing all your energy on the message you want to get across, you're stuck in this like mental loop of language conversion.
Right. Yeah.
Yeah.
And there's even research suggesting that those milliseconds we spend translating, they can actually have a noticeable impact on our processing speed
Really?
and even on our ability to like fully grasp the emotional nuances of a conversation,
Wow.
which can make the whole interaction feel less genuine, I guess.
Makes sense.
Like you're not fully present.
Yeah.
It's not just about speed either.
Right.
A lot of the stuff we read also mentioned how translating can sometimes make your English sound, well, a bit robotic or unnatural.
Of course.
Because native speakers, they often rely on this kind of feeling for the language, you know?
It's an intuition.
Yeah, and it's really hard to tap into that when you're constantly running everything through a mental translator.
Yeah, like you said, it's like trying to appreciate a piece of music by like meticulously analyzing each individual note. You know, you miss the melody, the emotion, the feeling.
Exactly. And, you know, all of this ties back to this idea of learning and mastering a language efficiently.
Right.
We all want to get there quickly and effectively, right?
Absolutely.
And translating, well, it has this unnecessary extra step.
Yeah, it's like having to go through a switchboard operator every time you want to make a phone call.
Exactly.
Cut out the middleman.
Right. It not only speeds things up, but it deepens your connection to the language.
You're on a direct line.
Okay, so we've talked about why ditching the translation habit is so important. But how do we actually do it?
Yeah, that's the big question.
Step one, according to everything we've learned, is all about immersion.
Immersion.
It's about consciously surrounding yourself with English and making it a bigger part of your daily life.
Makes sense.
Yeah, and the research gives some really concrete examples.
I like this.
One thing is something as simple as changing the language settings on your phone.
Oh, interesting.
Yeah, so all your menus, your apps, your text messages, everything's in English.
Oh, that's a good one.
Right? Suddenly you're interacting with English all the time, even for like the most basic stuff.
Yeah, it's like constant passive exposure.
Exactly.
Yeah.
It's not just your phone. It's also about actively seeking out English content, like watching English videos, listening to English music and podcasts.
Right, like this deep dive.
Exactly.
Yeah.
But here's the key, and this is something that all the sources really emphasize.
Okay.
You have to consciously resist the urge to translate what you're seeing or hearing back into your own language.
Well, that's tough.
Yeah, it's hard, but it's crucial. One of the sources had a really good example. Think about when you see the word settings on your phone.
Right.
The goal is to train your brain to just think settings directly,
Yeah.
to link that English word with what it means on your phone without going through that mental translation.
It's like creating a shortcut.
Exactly.
Yeah.
At first, your brain might still want to take that detour through your native language.
Right.
But by consistently linking settings with what it looks like and what it does,
Yeah.
you're strengthening that more direct connection in your brain.
And the more you use it, the stronger it gets.
Right. And eventually, you won't even need to translate.
It'll become automatic.
It's all about this constant soaking in of the language.
Right.
The more you expose yourself to English in this way without actively translating,
Yeah.
the more it becomes a part of you. It goes from something foreign to something familiar,
I like this.
something you understand directly.
It's like you're building a new foundation.
Okay, ready for step 2?
Hit me.
This one might feel a little weirder at first.
Yeah.
Start talking to yourself in English.
Out loud.
You can do it out loud or just in your head.
Oh.
It's called self-talk, and it's surprisingly effective.
How so?
Well, the research suggests that it really helps your brain get used to producing English naturally
I see.
without overthinking or translating.
So what kind of stuff should I be saying to myself?
Just narrate your everyday life,
Thank you.
like I'm brushing my teeth, the water's cold,
Okay.
or I'm hungry.
Wow.
What should I eat?
I can do that.
Even just mumbling simple stuff like I'm tired can be a good start.
No pressure to be grammatically perfect.
Exactly. The point is to just get your brain used to forming those English thoughts and phrases without even thinking about it.
It's like you're tricking your brain into thinking in English.
Yeah, kind of.
Cool.
Okay, step 3 is all about engaging your visual sense. This one's about picturing words directly instead of thinking of their translations.
Visualizing.
Right. It's a really cool technique that cuts out that whole word swapping thing we do in our heads.
I'm intrigued.
So the idea is to link an English word with a picture or an image in your mind
Okay.
and bypass the need to even think of the word in your native language.
I see where you're going with this.
For example, when you hear the word dog,
Dog.
you don't feel the word for dog in your language.
Right.
Picture a dog.
Yeah.
But maybe your own dog or just like a generic happy dog.
With a wagging tail.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Same thing with something like rain.
Rain.
Don't translate it.
Yeah.
Picture raindrops falling, hitting the ground. Hear the sound even.
Okay. Yeah.
And the research actually encourages us to try this right now.
Okay, let's do it.
Look around you. See a chair.
Chair.
Don't think of the word for chair in your own language.
Right.
Picture yourself sitting in it. Notice the color, the material.
Got it.
It's about creating that direct visual link.
So I'm basically building this like mental library of images.
Exactly. And each image is connected to an English word.
I see.
And the more you practice this,
Yeah.
the less your brain will automatically reach for that translation crouch.
Because I'm already thinking in English.
Right. You're strengthening that direct connection between the word and its meaning.
And the more I do it, the stronger it gets.
Exactly.
Awesome.
Okay, step 4 takes us into the real world.
What do you mean?
It's about actually having conversations in English.
Oh, God.
This is where everything we've talked about starts to come together
Right.
because now you're actually using English to communicate.
Yeah.
And your brain has to work in real time without that translation step.
It's go time.
Right. But don't worry. The advice is to start small, with low pressure situations.
Like what?
Like saying hello to someone in English
Easy enough.
or ordering a coffee like, can I get a latte, please?
I can do that.
The point is to just start speaking, even if it's just basic phrases.
And not overthink it.
Right. And it doesn't have to be face-to-face conversations either.
Okay.
You can use language exchange apps
Yeah, I've heard of those.
or even just chat with people in online games or forums.
That's a good idea.
Any situation where you're using English to communicate, even in a simple way, it helps.
It gets you comfortable.
Right. Because your brain starts to understand that it can understand and respond in English without needing to translate.
It's a confidence booster for sure.
Yeah, exactly. And remember, these early conversations don't have to be perfect.
Of course not.
The goal is just to get comfortable with that process of thinking and speaking in English at the same time.
It's all about practice.
Exactly.
Oh.
All right, step 5. The last one in this set
Okay.
focuses on how you learn new words. The
Interesting.
advice is to start using an English-to-English dictionary.
Instead of translating.
Exactly. Because when you rely on translations to understand new words,
Yeah.
you're essentially keeping your native language as that middleman.
Right.
But an English-to-English dictionary, it forces you to think within the framework of English itself.
I see.
So, for example, let's say you come across the word happy.
Okay. Happy.
Instead of immediately looking up the translation in your own language,
Yeah.
you look it up in an English-to-English dictionary, and you see definitions like feeling good or showing pleasure or contentment.
So you're understanding the word through other English words.
Exactly. And that's powerful because now your brain is making connections within the English language itself.
Instead of jumping back and forth.
Right. You're building a deeper, more nuanced understanding of the word.
It's like you're learning the language from the inside out.
Exactly. And it reinforces that habit of thinking in English.
I like that.
Okay, now, in addition to these 5 core strategies,
Yeah.
the material we looked at also suggests some really practical daily exercises.
Oh, cool.
These are like small things you can do to really make this a habit.
Like what?
One is called the 5-minute rule.
The 5-minute rule.
Yeah, it's simple. You dedicate the first 5 minutes of your day to just thinking in English.
About anything.
About anything, yeah. It might feel weird at first,
Probably.
but it's a great way to like activate that English mindset right from the start.
Okay, I like that.
Then there's the no translate game.
No translate game.
This one's fun. You choose a category like food,
Food. Okay.
and then for 1 minute, you try to list as many English words related to food as you can,
Okay.
but without translating any of them back into your own language.
That's tough.
It is,
Yeah.
but it's a good challenge.
Right.
And finally, there's this really simple one.
Okay.
Make a habit of describing photos or images you see,
Like on social media.
Yeah, or in articles, anywhere.
Okay.
So instead of just glancing at them, take a moment to actually describe what you see in English.
So like, that's a beautiful sunset.
Yeah, or he's wearing a blue shirt, anything like that.
I see.
It's a quick, easy way to practice building those English sentences.
And it gets you thinking in English without even realizing it.
Exactly.
Okay, so we've got all these strategies and exercises.
Right.
But I think one thing that's really important to remember is that this is a process.
Oh, absolutely.
It takes time.
It's not going to happen overnight.
Right.
You're building a new skill.
It's like learning an instrument.
Yeah. And there will be days when you slip back into old habits.
Of course.
You'll catch yourself translating, and that's totally okay.
It's normal.
The key is to just be persistent. Keep practicing and be patient with yourself.
Yeah. Don't get discouraged.
Exactly. Consistency is way more important than speed.
I think that's good advice for language learning in general.
Oh, totally.
Hmm.
And one of the things I found really encouraging,
Okay.
one of the sources talked about someone who eventually started dreaming in English. It shows you how ingrained this can become over time.
Yeah, that's amazing.
Oh, and I found this little pro tip that I thought was kind of funny.
Okay.
One of the authors suggested that using English curse words can actually help bypass translation.
Really?
Yeah, because those words are often so closely tied to raw emotion.
I guess that makes sense.
And emotions, they tend to short-circuit that logical, analytical part of our brain that wants to translate.
Interesting.
It's like you're accessing a different pathway.
Right. It's like a shortcut.
Exactly. And on a more fundamental level,
Yeah.
one of the sources reminded us that we all learned our first language through immersion,
Right.
just by absorbing it from our environment.
Not through textbooks and grammar rules.
Right. No one sat us down as babies and explained verb conjugations.
Yeah, it was all about listening and imitating.
Exactly.
Yeah.
And we can apply that same principle to learning to think in English.
Create that immersive environment.
Right. And keep practicing those direct associations between English words and their meanings.
It's like rewiring your brain for English.
Exactly. Okay, so let's quickly recap.
Okay.
We talk about why relying on translation can hold us back.
Right.
It slows us down,
Yeah.
disrupts the flow, makes us sound less natural.
And less efficient.
Exactly. And then we went through 5 key strategies to help break free.
Right.
Surrounding yourself with English, talking to yourself in English, picturing words directly, having simple English conversations, and using an English-to-English dictionary. And we also touched on some fun daily exercises to help make those things a habit.
Right. Like the 5-minute rule and the no translate game.
Exactly. And the big takeaway,
Yeah.
be patient with yourself.
It's a journey.
It is. And trust that you can develop that English mindset.
Because you can.
Absolutely.
It's just a matter of time and effort.
So here's a question for you to think about this week, and it comes straight from one of the sources we looked at.
Okay.
What, for you personally, is the hardest part about thinking directly in English?
Oh, that's a good one.
It's a great question for reflection.
Yeah, it makes you think about your own unique challenges.
Exactly. And it might even help you figure out which of these tips would be most helpful for you to focus on.
Right, because everyone's different.
So remember, this deep dive is just one step on your English language journey.
It's a lifelong process.
It is. And we hope that the things we talked about today will help you build that stronger, more direct connection with English.
And unlock your fluency.
Exactly.
Mm.
So keep practicing, keep experimenting, and most importantly, have fun with it.
That's the best advice.
It is.
I've really enjoyed this deep dive.
Me too.
Yeah.
It's been fascinating.
Thanks for having me.
Thanks for being here.